Hello, my friends. Sit comfortably. Let your hands rest. Take one slow breath. Imagine you are in a quiet room. Maybe it is your kitchen. Maybe it is a small room with soft light. You hear a small sound outside, or you hear nothing at all. In your hands you have a warm drink, tea, coffee, or warm water. The cup feels warm on your fingers. For a short time, you can just listen. Now think of one small thing you can add to that drink. A small spoon of sugar. It looks simple. It tastes simple. But it carries a long human story. Have you ever wondered about sugar? Today, it feels normal. You can buy it anywhere. You can keep it in a jar. You can use it every day. But long ago, sugar was not normal. Long ago, sugar was hard to get. Only a few people had it. And when something is hard to get, it becomes important. People talk about it. People trade for it. People carry it far. People try to keep it for themselves. So let us follow sugar. Not like a school lesson, not like a list of facts, just a calm human story. A story that starts very early. Long before cities, people lived close to the land. They moved with the seasons. They slept under simple shelters. They cooked over fire. They watched animals. They watched plants. They learned by trying. They learned by remembering. They did not have bags of white sugar. They did not have cakes. They did not have candy. But they did know sweet taste. They found sweet taste in fruit, soft fruit, ripe fruit, fruit warmed by the sun. Imagine someone walking in the early morning. The ground is cool. The air is quiet. They see a tree with fruit. They touch one piece. It is soft. They taste it. It is sweet. They take another piece for a child at home. Sweet fruit did not last long. It could spoil. Animals could take it. So people ate it when they found it, and they remembered where it was. They came back later. They brought others. They shared it. There was another sweet taste, too. Honey. Honey was not easy to get. It was guarded by insects. It could be high in a tree or deep in a crack of rock. To take honey, people needed care. They needed smoke. They needed steady hands. Often, they needed help from others. Imagine two people standing under a tree. One holds a smoky fire. The other climbs slowly. The climber reaches in. They pull out a small piece. It drips and sticks to the fingers. They climb down carefully. They share a little taste. Honey could be saved. Honey could be carried. And honey could make plain food taste special. So in many early groups, honey was not for every day. It was for a special moment, a guest, a new baby, a small celebration. Sweetness was already part of human life, not as a habit, as a rare comfort. Now imagine another kind of sweetness, not in fruit, not in honey, in a plant. In warm places, people saw tall green grasses. Some of these grasses held sweet liquid inside. If you cut a piece and chew it, you taste it. At first, it is only water. Then the sweetness comes, slowly. People noticed this. They chewed the plant on long days. They chewed it while walking. They chewed it while working. Over time, some people stayed longer in one place. They planted crops near home. They protected fields. They stored food. And in warm places, people began to grow these sweet grasses on purpose. But chewing a plant is slow, and the sweetness does not last, so people tried new ways. They pressed the plant, they squeezed out the juice, they boiled the juice over fire. Boiling took time. Boiling needed fuel. Someone had to watch the pot. If the fire was too strong, it could burn. If the fire was too weak, it stayed thin. So making sugar was not easy. It was work. It was also skill. Imagine a small boiling place near a field. A few pots sit near the fire. The juice bubbles. Someone stirs with a stick. They look at the color. They wait. Then they pour thick syrup into a shallow dish. Later, it can be carried in a small jar. It can be offered to a guest. It can be traded for other food. And slowly, sugar began to travel. Not fast, slowly. One person at a time. A farmer carried cuttings of the plant to a new field. A traveler tasted sweetness in a new town. A trader bought a little jar of syrup. Then the trader carried it to another place. Now imagine a road that follows a river. Small boats move up and down. People stop at river towns. They trade salt. They trade cloth. They trade dried fruit. And sometimes they trade a small amount of sugar. Picture a market in a river town. You hear voices. You smell smoke from cooking fires. A trader opens a small cloth. Inside is a lump of brown sugar. A buyer leans closer. The buyer tastes a tiny bit. They nod. They trade for it. At home, they do not use much. They save it. They wait for a special day. They add a little to a drink. They watch someone smile. In some places, sugar stayed rare for a long time. Only rich people could afford it. In other places, it became a trade good, because it could be packed, because it could survive travel, because people far away would pay for it. As trade grew, sugar traveled farther still. It traveled on camels and carts. It traveled in small ships along warm coasts. It traveled into port towns. Now picture a port by the sea. The air smells like salt. Boats sit near the water. Men lift sacks onto their shoulders. A trader stands near a storage room. Inside there are sacks of many goods, and sugar in small bags. A man with a notebook sits nearby. He writes down what goes in and what goes out. Sometimes he uses trade papers. Sometimes he uses simple promises between traders. The sugar leaves the port on a boat. It arrives at another port. Then it moves again by cart. A buyer in the next town opens the bag at home. They smell it. They touch the grains. They do not pour much. They only take a pinch. They stir it into warm tea. They taste. They smile a little. Then they close the bag tightly. They put it high, away from children and animals. They want it to last. Each time it moves, more people hear about it. In one place, people mix it into drinks. In one place, people cook it with nuts. In one place, people use it for special bread. And as sugar became valuable, a new problem grew beside it. When a thing brings money, people want more of it. When people want more of it, they try to own the land. They try to own the mills. They try to decide who works. There is a difficult part of this story. We will stay calm. We will speak gently, but we will be honest. To make sugar in large amounts, people needed big fields. They needed many workers. They needed cutting, carrying, crushing, boiling, day after day. In hot places, this work was heavy. The plants were tall. The bundles were heavy. The work started early. People used sharp knives. They cut the cane close to the ground. They tied the cane into bundles. They lifted the bundles onto carts. At the mill, the cane had to be crushed quickly, so workers pushed cane into the mill again and again. Sweet juice ran out into long wooden channels. Other workers carried it to large pots. The boiling room was hot. Steam rose and made the air thick. People wiped sweat from their faces. Some took a quick sip of water. Then they went back to work. One person stayed near the fire all the time. Another carried water and juice in buckets. Another removed the dark layer from the top of the pot. People worked close together because the steps had to happen in order. If they stopped too long, the juice could change, so the work kept moving. By night, bodies were tired, hands hurt. Many people fell asleep as soon as they lay down. In some places, powerful owners wanted to make money quickly from sugar, so they built very large farms. They brought guards. They made strict rules, and too often they used force. Many people were taken from their homes. Many people were carried across the sea. Many people were made to work without choice. Families were often separated. Many workers suffered. This happened far from the tables where sugar was eaten. The sugar that reached a far table often had a painful cost. Many buyers did not see it. Some did not want to see it. Sugar was not only a plant in a field, it became a business. A boat took it away from the island or the coast. Men with weapons stood near storage rooms. They watched who could enter. They watched who could take a sack. In some places, a local leader decided the rules. In some places, a rich owner paid for ships and tools. The sugar moved far, but the workers stayed. They woke early. They cut the cane again. They carried heavy bundles again. So the sweet taste on a far table was connected to hard work in hot air. Over time, the world changed again. New machines appeared. Near the fields, owners built larger mills. A mill could crush more plants in one day. The juice could be boiled in bigger pots. More sugar could be made. In some places, factories were built near ports. In some places, factories were built near rivers. Imagine a factory by a river. The river turns a wheel. The wheel turns heavy parts inside the mill. Workers bring cane in carts. They feed it into the crushing machine. Juice flows out into a large tank. From there, it goes to boiling rooms. Later, sugar grains are dried. They are poured into sacks. A cart takes the sacks to a dock. A ship takes them to another place. Step by step, sugar became cheaper. Step by step, more people could buy it. It moved from rich houses to ordinary homes. It moved from rare treats to daily use. Then sugar spread even more because people found another way to make it, not only from tall cane. In cooler places, farmers found sugar in a root. Picture a farmer pulling roots from wet soil. They load roots onto a cart. The roots are washed, they are cut, they are boiled. The sweet part is cleaned and dried. This meant sugar could be made closer to many towns. So sugar became even more common. Now think about a modern store. You walk down one aisle. The lights are bright. The floor is clean. You see bags of sugar on a low shelf. White sugar in large bags. Brown sugar in smaller bags. You can pick one up with one hand. It feels cheap and ordinary. Then you notice sugar in other places too. It is inside cereal. It is inside flavored yogurt. It is inside bottled drinks. It is inside sauces for cooking. You do not need to search for it. It is already there in many everyday foods. In the modern world, sugar is easy. A person can buy it in minutes. A person can carry it home in one bag. This is very different from the past. In the past, sweetness often took time and labor. It took walking and searching. It took climbing. It took cutting. It took boiling. Now sweetness comes in clean bags and packets, and it is used so often that people can forget it has a history. Now let us look back one more time. Imagine you are watching a long, quiet line of human life. First, you see fruit picked and shared. Then you see honey taken with smoke and careful hands. Then you see sweet grass chewed on a long walk. Then you see juice boiled near a small fire. Then you see sugar wrapped in cloth on a market table. Then you see sacks moved through a port and onto a boat. Then you see hard work in fields, mills, and boiling rooms. And much later, you see a shopper lift a bag of sugar from a clean shelf. This is one long story. Sugar can feel small today, a spoon, a packet, a bowl on the table. But it moved through many places to reach your home. It passed through many hands. It passed through many kinds of work. It moved through farms, markets, ports, and factories. So next time you hold sugar, pause for a moment, not with fear, not with guilt, just with a quiet thought. This sweet taste is older than cities, older than modern roads, older than factories. People have always looked for sweet things. People have always enjoyed small comforts. And people have also built big trade around those comforts. Sometimes that trade was fair. Sometimes it was cruel. Sugar is part of that human story. Now, my friends, take one more slow breath. Let your hands rest again. If you are holding a warm cup, hold it a little longer. Because even ordinary things in our homes can come from a long past. Sugar did not start as a clean white bag. It started as fruit, honey, and sweet plants. Later, it became juice, fires, boiling pots, and heavy work. It traveled through markets and ports. It moved in sacks and small bags. And slowly it became cheap enough for many homes. So when you see sugar today, you can remember this quietly. It is small in your hand, but it has moved through many places and many kinds of work. And sugar is one of those everyday things with a long history. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.